try something I've never done before, and that is put a handle on a knife. And this is how I, handle a knife. So that's why the video is called How I Handle a Knife. I have never done it before. That's not really true. I'll explain in a minute. I tried to do this, but it didn't work. But anyway, this knife has a little bit of a history for me. It's been around forever, as far as I'm concerned. My dad had it, and he used to use it. I was born and raised in Northern California, and by Northern California, I mean north of San Francisco. I mean way north, true north, up in the Eureka, Arcata area. Actually, it was in McKinleyville. Is where I grew up. But anyway, up there, my family, my dad, his sisters, and all that kind of extended family like that, they lived kind of out and kind of rural. But one of the things they would do is, or at least in my case, my dad would go out and go to an auction. He'd buy small pig, raise it up, and then butcher it. The extended family would come over and help with that butchering, and then they would divvy up that pig. Everybody that helped, every family that helped would maybe get a ham or whatever out of that pig. But they would use all of it. My grandmother was there, and believe me, she ate some of the stuff that even at the time I thought was a little uncalled for. Like the feet and the brains and all that kind of stuff that I just never developed a taste for. But anyway. The way they would do it is they'd have it in a pin, they'd raise it. My dad would go out, and he had a single shot 22. And he would go out and he'd shoot the pig right between the eyes. And again, it's a 22. So it's like an assassin, like you hear about the mafia and the assassins use 22s to kill you. You just have to be close. And 22 will do quite a bit of damage. So anyway, he would go out, he would shoot him right between the eyes, and then immediately go into the pen with him and take this knife and, bleed him. Stick the artery so the blood would drain out of the pig. I think that's about the only part of the pig they didn't use. But anyway, and then they would use this knife as part of the butchering process. So the knife has a history, a family history anyway. It's a pretty good knife. I mean, haven't done anything to it in years, really, as far as keeping it clean or oiling it or any of that kind of stuff. And there's no real rust on it. It's got that patina on here. And I don't mind the patina, so I'm going to leave that on there. But I do want to put a handle on it. And as I said, I did try this once before and failed. And what I tried is I took these 1911 grips and I tried to get it so that maybe this may be upside down, but anyway, I tried to put the 1911 grips on here. I guess something like that. And I put them on, and then I had to epoxy them, and it lasted. It didn't feel right to start with, but even if it did feel right, it only lasted, I don't know, a couple of weeks, and they broke off. I'm sure that's all my fault, and better epoxy job may make this kind of a handle better. But the handle was too short. It felt too short. There's nothing coming out here for this knife anyway. So I didn't like it anyway, and then I was glad when it fell off. And if you look real close, you can still see some epoxy on here. I don't know if you can see that shine in that or not, but I'm going to have to clean that off. But anyway, that's the only other time I've tried to fix this. And the handle came off because at some point I wound up with this as a kid, and they quit butchering their own livestock. So it really had no purpose. And I would take this, and as a kid, you go out and you throw it and you try to stick it in stuff. And this is not an expensive knife, I'm guessing, but it had a plastic handle on it. And by throwing it, and eventually I broke it. And then it came off, and I threw that away, and I've had this ever since. And laying around in the shop or wherever. So that's kind of the history, and I'd like to put a handle back on it. So I don't know exactly, I know it's going to be out of wood. I don't exactly know what wood. I thought, okay, Purple Heart, it's a nice hardwood, maple, or not maple, but walnut maybe, that kind of thing. And I can't quite decide. I've gone online like we all do, and I've looked around, and I've seen some really nice knife handles. I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm just going to have to make the best handle I can and put on here. But I have a lot of scraps. I always have scraps, and I've mentioned this in other videos that I like to use those up. Now I'm going to see if I can piece together maybe some various woods somehow, like a plywood type thing. See if I can do that. Anyway, that's part of the series. I'll try to make this short, but I never do. But anyway, I'm going to try to do that as far as the actual wood, or I'll look at the walnut. Maybe I'll try a walnut. Maybe I'll try a Purple Heart. I don't know. We'll see. But one of the things I think that was a problem with this stuff is this hole in the tank. There's a little hole here. You see it? All right. I never utilized that before, and I don't know why there's only one hole. So I think the first thing I have to do is maybe make another hole over in here somewhere, maybe just to help hold on the wood, make it a little stronger. Anyway, I'm going to try to drill that. And I don't work metal at all, but I'm going to have to drill a hole in this, and hopefully it can match this one. I'll have to see how that goes. But I've also to make a plug for this, or to make I'm sure there's a name for it, but make that piece of metal that goes through here, like this, to hold that on. I've gone online and I've seen people who use metal tubing or rods. I've seen rods also. So I looked around, I couldn't find any rods. I probably just looked in the wrong place, and I don't look, diligently, and I don't go online. So I looked, I couldn't find the rods, but I did find some tubes at a hobby store. It's hollow. And this one, there's 3 sizes in here. This one, pretty much, with a little, it goes through there. With a little pounding, it will be perfectly okay. So I think I'm going to use this tubing. And then, again, like I said, online, I've seen them take tubing like this with epoxy. And you fill up the tube. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but ever how long I make it. You fill a tube up with epoxy, and then you take these tiny rods, which I did find at the same hobby store, and then you put them down, you feed them through, let it harden, and then you have like a little design on the end with these. I have one square one and some round ones. And I'm going to make a little design in there and see how that works. Anyway, that's the basics. Is I'm going to use this as the well, there you can see it go through there. I'm going to make this as the pin, if you will, using this tube and these rods. And I'm going to take a look at the wood I have, see if I can glue something together, or I'll use a solid, probably either walnut or Purple Heart, I guess. I don't know what else I would use. But anyway, and that's what I'm going to be trying to do in this series, and I expect to fail multiple times before I get it done. But I'm going to film it, and then I'll leave in the mistakes if I have them, because you're going to learn more from my mistakes than you are from anything I really try to teach you. So anyway, that's the way we're going to go. I don't think there's anything else I want to say on this opening. So here we go. Well, that point right here looks like it's the center. Eyeballing it, it looks like it's the center of, or at least it runs in a straight line here. Looks like there's as much here as there is here, except for that little downward, this little downward part right here. It looks like it's pretty close. Am I precise? I am not, but this looks about right there. So I'm going to try to do a hole here. See how it goes. Huh. Thing actually worked. Alright, now I'll go see if we can drill a hole in this. Huh? Okay, as you can see here, I put some blue tape here and a clamp holding the knife to this wooden board. And I'm going to put this under here so I can find that hole again. Should be right there. Then I'm going to take this clamp and I'm going to clamp the board itself to the drill bit. That's fairly secure there. It looks pretty good to me, so we'll see how this goes. And I understand you're supposed to use oil with the when you're drilling in metal, and this is the only oil I have, so this is the oil I'm going to use. There. Makes me nervous. This isn't working. Okay, so here's number one error. I've got the wrong kind of drill bit, I guess. It's wood only, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, it's making a dimple in it, but it's not. It really isn't cutting through there like I was hoping. I don't think I have anything better than that, so I may have to go to the store and get a different kind of metal drill bit. I did find a different drill bit. It's got kind of a different looking head to it. It's kind of a flat looking thing. I don't know if that's for, you can't see this, it's not focusing. Anyway, I found another drill bit laying around here. It's 3/16, which is the same as this one that would not cut through. So I'm going to put this one in, see if it'll work, give it one more shot before I have to go to the store after something. got success. I don't know what I'll probably ruin the drill bit, but it's hot. So anyway, I got that hole. So I checked, you know, this one fits really tight. And this one isn't quite as tight. So I don't know. I don't know how to put the metal back in this thing, so I'll just have to go with this and see if I can overcome.